In this video, I shall show you how you can install Python on Windows. To start with, you click this browser. Here it is Google Chrome browser. You can use any browser. First you type www.python.org. This is the official site of Python. So this is the Python official site. You see a lot of things here about downloads, documentation, and etc. etc. You can read this all this with your time. Go to downloads. Here you see Python 3.8.3 version and download for Windows. So you understand this is the latest version. You probably know Python comes in two versions, Python 2 and Python 3. Python 2 is older version, and Python, I will suggest if your machine is old and the operating system is not upgraded, then you can go easy with Python 2. And if you want to install Python 3 on your machine, then you can go ahead. Probably your machine is relatively new and the upgraded system you have. Well, if you click this, the Python executable file will be downloaded automatically. But I suggest don't do that. Come here, view the full list of downloads. What are there? So you see a lot of releases, 3.8, 3.7 and so on, and the first release, end of support, etc. etc. And after that, below this, you have all the various specific versions and their stable versions. You see the release date, download, etc. etc. Suppose you want to download this latest version, you click here download, and it will show you lots of things. You can read them, but you come at the end. Here you see Mac OS, that means it is for Mac, Apple. And you come here, Windows x86-64 executable installer. If your machine is a 64-bit machine, then you will prefer that. But you have to check first. Most probably if all the latest machines are of 64-bit machines. So you can go ahead with this. Okay. This is this one, 64 executable installer. Okay. You click it. Once you click it and look at this left bottom, the executable file is being downloaded in no time. Okay, if you click here, go to the show in folder, you see the Python 3.8.3 etc etc .exe files. Since I have already installed these Python 3, so the previous executable files are also stored here in my downloads folder. So anyway, if you now click this, at this moment it will open a window, and since I have already installed, it will show you either modify or repair or uninstall. This is when your installation goes something wrong, you can do it again. Well, you don't need that. So come out. I can show you how it looks when you first try to install. Well, if you first try to install, this window will come up, and you can click here, install now. You can click here and the installation will start automatically. You don't have to do anything. It will take 1 to 2 minutes. That's it. Don't click customize installation unnecessarily. So done. Installation is done. After you install, if you go here in the start, or in this start you write Python, or you go here, you see the idle Python 3.8.64 64-bit 3.8 64-bit this thing is here, this logo. You can click it and the open window will open, but instead of that you should do at least once once you can do is that you right click and go to more, open file location. You see this idle, look for the idle is integrated development and learning environment. So where you type, where you it will open the command line. Okay, so you right click here and you want to send it on the desktop, so send to desktop, create shortcut. Okay, do that, done. See where it has opened. I think look at this, look at here. Okay, so this is the idle Python 3.8 64-bit. So you double click it, so the window will open. So this is the window, idle window where you will work. Let me go to options, configure idle, then I can increase the size. Font also you can change. I can, for your demonstration purpose, I can increase the say 634 font size. Apply. Okay, I can now. Okay, so I'm ready. So this is Python 3.8.3 and these three arrows, this is the interpreter, means it is the command line. Here you can begin to type. So it is customary that for any program, computer program, when you learn for the first time, traditionally you write print and then hello world, just fun. Okay, what does it mean? Print, see this color is magenta, so followed by two first brackets you call, this is parenthesis, that means anything, any name followed by two such first brackets means this is a function. So print is a function. What does it do? It prints, of course. In Python you will encounter lots of all these functions, what that will do your own work. What is a function and etc you will learn later. And inside this, between these two first brackets, whatever you write is called argument. So the argument here is something, some message, something you have written, whatever it is, but you put it inside two quotes, quote unquote. So this thing is called basically a string. So the argument is here as a string. Now you enter, so the hello world will come. But even if you, on this interpreter, if you type this and you don't write print, it will also work, because on interpreter you do not have to write print even. So if you write this, but on this if you write say this and you either forget or don't give the inverted commas, you see the color is changed. Let me enter and see what it does, what it says. Oh, it says invalid syntax. That means the computer does not understand these alphabetic things. Any alphabetic thing you have to write, you have to write inside two quote unquote. Okay, this is called string. If you write say number, say 5, it will understand 5. If you write say something point something, that means it's a decimal number, fractional number, it will understand. Okay, if you write say type of say 8, say for example, so it will, oh sorry, I'm sorry, if you write say type and this, so it will show you this 8 number is an integer, int is integer. Forget about this class, you will learn later. Suppose I write type, type, and this inside you write something point something. Okay, it will show you float. That means the fractional numbers are called float in computer. So the real numbers that you deal with, these are two types, integer and float. Okay, so in the interpreter here, this interpreter over here that you are writing, you can use this as a calculator. If you write 5 say plus 6, it will calculate. If you write 8 star 4, it will calculate. If you write say something, say 24 by 5, it will calculate. So all these things you can do. You can calculate like a calculator over here. So the if you write 4 star star 2, that means it's a power. So plus is plus, minus is minus, star is product, this slanting symbol is division, and this double star is power. That means 4 to the power 2. So obviously it will be 16. So that way you begin your typing and you can calculate things. Now if you write x equal to say 5, right? What does it mean? It means you want to store this number 5 in your some memory location, and you designate that, you assign that memory location, that number, with some symbol x. That means x is your variable. So you write x equal to 5 means the 5 number you assign with x. Okay, similarly say, okay, if you write this, you now try to see what is id of x. Again, id is a identity. That means it's a memory location. It will show you this memory location. Do not care about this number. It is a memory location address. If you write say type and then inside that you write x, that means it will show you the type of the number, type of the variable. So id is a function, type is a function, like print was a function. Now suppose you write x equal to say 7. Okay, earlier you wrote x equal to 5. Now you write x equal to 7. That means the x is now this is superposed. That means the earlier thing it has forgotten. Now if you write x, so x is 7. So this value you wrote, this not value, this assignment, this is gone. Now you type type the write id of x. Of course you will see a new location. So earlier the location address was here, now the location address is here. So the location is changed. That means every time it is writing in its a different memory location. Okay, so this way it does, the computer works. Okay, now if you write say x is your 7 and you write y equal to say 4, then you write x plus y minus x star y, etc., etc. So it will calculate. So you can simplify these things. So this way you write each line is an instruction. So suppose first you write x equal to 7, then you write say y equal to 4, then you write x plus y minus x into x star y. So that means it total you collect all those lines, and this collection is called as a program. And in Python you call it Python script. Sometimes you call code, Python code. If you go to file, open a new file, so the another window will come. Here you can write say x equal to 7, y equal to say 5, and then you write say z equal to, here you were writing here on this interpreter and it was giving the result automatically. But when you write in a file, of course if you you have to, it has to show you, so you store it z equal to say x plus y minus x star y. Okay, so the calculation you have done, you have assigned this thing into z, so z is your new variable. So now how do you know what the computer has calculated? It has calculated these things and put the assign this as z. So now you have to write print, and inside that you have to write z. So that's it. This is your first program. You run this, run module. Okay, you can save this file in some name. So I write test. So file name will be something.py. py extension is for Python. You save it, and you see the result is this. It will show you the result. This is the interpreter window, so it will show you this result. Okay, so this is this how you will this way you do your programming. You can now again go to file, now open. You can see this test.py, this file you can see. Next time onwards, if you now remove this, if you now remove this, you open this interpreter and you go to file, open, you bring that file, you click that, open this, run this, because the file is already there, and it will again show the result. So this way you go on writing programs. Okay, one thing I comment, since I have written x equal to 7 and y equal to say 4 or whatever, so you can also write x comma y equal to 7 comma 4. This way it looks smarter. In one line you write. That means in Python you can write this: x is 7 corresponding, and the second item y is 4. Why you can write this, you will get to know later. So this is how you do basic Python programming. Now, for your programming purpose, you need to install various other packages written for Python. These are the third-party packages. What are the packages? Packages are basically library. These are all the basically special kind of directory which people have made for you. They are inside that there are lots of modules and functions. What are the functions, what are the modules, you will understand, but for the time being you understand this module is a Python program. Python script probably is a long script where you have lots of blocks of code. So each block does certain basic thing. So the blocks can be called as functions or class or whatever, the way it is written. So you take this particular block and use for your programming, and for that you need for various purposes you need various kinds of packages. So you have to, in this Python, you have, suppose in this, suppose you want to install one package that you require for your programming. So to do this, you have to go to the search, write cmd, that means command prompt. Click it, go here. Okay, this is your command prompt. So colon users, and this is the username, and you write cd. Normally once you install Python latest version, Python 3, it will create an own its own directory, but it will choose its own by default place. So we try to go there. Okay, first. So cd, I know it, app, how do you know? I forget. If I forget, okay, then there is a method to see it. Let's see. There's a method to see it. You can do it in very many ways. Suppose one way is go to file, open. So window will open here. Okay, so window will open, and you see the path name, the username. You see username, then app data, then local, then programs, then Python 38. Okay, so you go here. So cd is change directory, appdata. Okay, then what is that? Then it was local, then local program. Okay, then local, then programs, then Python, then Python 38. If you enter, it will go there directly. Okay, so this thing, and you see dir directory, what is there inside? Lots of directories and things are there. See, I have created this test.py. This is also here. You have to go to scripts. Okay, CRIPTS. Okay, now again you go there. Okay, here if you here, so cd again, SCRIPTS. You could write in one line slash Python 38 /scripts. You could write anyway. So this is scripts. So the mantra is pip install. Pip is the name of the executable, this command. So if you go in the scripts and can check the directory by writing dir, what is there. Okay, if you want to see, you see dir. So this pip.exe file is there, pip3.exe file is there, and so on. You write pip, either pip or pip3 or whatever, install, and the package name, the package you want. Suppose the package name is, say, matplotlib. So that means you installed mathematical plotting library for which you want to, with which you can plot your any data. That means you want to plot graph. If you enter that, since it is already installed, so it is showing requirement already satisfied, so it won't show you. Otherwise it will if your net is on, so it will automatically install these packages. So the mantra is the simple. You write this thing, pip install, and the package name. Say package name is matplotlib. Package name can be numpy, numerical Python. It can be scipy, scientific Python. It can be lot of other packages for anything you want. You do machine learning for their packages. You do geographical works for those. You have other packages. You do biological work, astrophysics, whatever you do, you have packages for them, and you know that packages. These packages are free. This is open source. You just install the package and begin to type. So what you do next? Suppose your matplotlib is installed. Okay, and you can also install, say, pip install numpy, say. So numpy is it's being, you are trying to install numpy. Also you can write say scipy together, so it will install both of them. Okay, so I'm not showing this here. It will do it automatically, come out once for all. You have to do this. Done. Now you can plot. You can now come here. You can now come here on the interpreter. You have to, what you have to do is that you have to import, then numpy. So you have to import this package, or you have to import matplotlib, because every time you do programming, this is where you are working. This is called namespace. So in this namespace you have to import the package before you write your program. If you want to use any module or function from these packages, you have to first import that. That's it.